Now, let me introduce the speaker of the day. Welcome, Miss Jerry Maria Sojan, soon to be a doctor. Today, she'll be talking about a variety of fellowships and scholarships, I hope, that are available for education, training, and research in the European Union. Before going to the talk, a little bit of background about Jerry. Miss Jerry has a Bachelor in Fishery Science from Kerala University of Fisheries and Ocean Studies, India, and an Erasmus Mundus joint master's degree in aquaculture, environment, and society from University of Highlands and Islands, University of Crete, Greece, and University of Nantes, France. Her research thesis done at University of Aberdeen, UK, involved developing a 3D spheroid cell culture technique from fish cell lines for infection studies. So she is currently enrolled in the third year of her PhD at the Polytechnic University of Delle Marche Oncono, Italy, as an early stage researcher of the Biomedic project within the Mary Sklodowska-Curie Actions Innovative Training Network. Her current research focuses on the effects of probiotics and micronutrients on the skeletal development of zebrafish and farm fish. So, from bachelor's to PhD, fishes have been her constant passion. But apart from that, she's also an avid reader, traveler, and loves to explore new cultures. So, anyway, that's it about her background. So, let's welcome Miss Jerry, and the stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. First of all, I would like to thank the coordinators for giving such a wonderful opportunity, for inviting me to this talk. I really find this very interesting platform. It gives an opportunity for various disciplines of talks, and this is such a great effort. And so I thank you for that. Thank you for the invitation, and all the people who are listening to me, thank you for coming. So I will directly go to sharing my screen with the talk. Can you see my screen? Can somebody say yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, so maybe I'll reduce this. Okay. So today's talk is about EU-funded opportunities in education, training, research from joint master's degrees to individual fellowship. So I'll be talking about some European Union funded opportunities, starting from the basic master's degree up to a postdoctoral level fellowship. So I'll be covering more or less different aspects of these funding opportunities. Okay. So a little bit about myself, which was already introduced. So I'll be very quick about this. I had my BFSc degree from Kufos in India. I hope most of the audience will be knowing this, but just in case. So it's Kerala University of Fisheries and Ocean Studies. And I was a 2011 batch BFSc degree. And after completing the BFSc degree in 2016, I went on for the master's degree in aquaculture, environment, and society. It's abbreviated as AFS, which is an Erasmus Mundus degree. So I'll be more explaining about this part of it, the Erasmus Mundus scholarships in my talk. So I was also an alumni in an Erasmus program, ACES, and my consortium universities were the UK one, the University of Highlands and Islands, University of Crete in Greece, and University of Nantes. So this was the main partners of my course, and I had a summer research internship in HCMR Crete, where it was about finding a novel species of myxozoan parasite, Henegua. And also the thesis was in University of Aberdeen, UK, where I was working on a cell culture system, developing a new 3D cell culture system. So that was my research in master's. Then currently I'm in PhD, or we call it early stage researcher, ESR, as a part of a Marie Curie ITN network project Biomedaco. I started from 2018 to, it will be ending in this year, 2021. I'm in the third year. So since these were introduced earlier, so this is about me. I'm currently in third year, but the talk is mainly about European Union funding programs. So I'll go with that. So let's start with that. So we have these different levels of education or research or training funding programs. And so let's go with the different categories. Starting from a master's level or post-graduation level, we have EU-funded opportunities for master's courses, and it is called Erasmus Mundus Joint Master's Degrees. Or for PhD, the European Union provides scholarships in the name of Marie Curie Actions Innovative Training Networks, ITNs. For postdoctoral level, we have individual fellowships. That's also coming under Marie Curie Actions. And I also has picked some very interesting two other funding opportunities. RISE and CoFund doesn't exclusively belong to one of this category, but some other options. So let's start with master's level European funding program, which is Erasmus Mundus Joint Master's Degree. Okay. So, like the name says, the joint master's degree, these are jointly given by multiple universities. That's one of the specialty. So, the first thing, why Erasmus Mundus joint masters? So, I'll be more or less focusing on these points by using my own experience, my own program. That will be more interesting as well as easier for me. So, the first point is top academic experience. Well, to begin with, the Erasmus Mundus program is already having multiple universities as part of the consortium, like I already told. That will naturally give an opportunity for us to study in different universities and different professors, very extremely good professors in their respective these curriculums. And we have these different labs, different teaching facilities, top class facilities, and we get this opportunity to go to all these places and learn according to their expertise. That is one very important thing we get out of this joint masters, which is part of the program. The next important thing is it's very prestigious. These Erasmus Mundus masters are considered to be one of the top master program in Europe. So even after finishing an Erasmus Mundus masters, whichever be the degree it is, we will all be part of an Erasmus Mundus alumni group all across the world. So it is considered as a very prestigious thing to be called as an Erasmus Mundus alumni. Then another thing is, like I told, it's a joint degree, which means there will be multiple universities in the consortium, and that gives us a final degree jointly given by multiple universities. That is so cool, because when you take your degree certificate, you will have these different universities and their seal and their, it's so good to see to have a multiple degree, a joint degree from multiple universities. Something else which I found very interesting is about the thesis work. So even if we have 4 universities as part of the consortium, we don't have to really do the thesis in one of the university. We are flexible to do it anywhere else. In my case, I did my thesis in University of Aberdeen, which was not part of my consortium. But there is this flexibility and freedom to select your thesis topic and do the thesis anywhere you want. So that is another thing which is very interesting about Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters. Then another very important thing which most of the students will be interested is about the scholarship. We don't have to pay when you get this scholarship for anything, like you are totally funded. There is no application fee or tuition fee, and you get stipend every month, insurance, and name anything. You are fully covered, and it is a very good stipend as well. So the tuition fee around 9,000 euros is being covered by the program, and you get mobility allowance in the beginning of an year up to 3,000 euro. That's like close to 3 lakh rupees in India. You get insurance, you get 1,000 euro per month stipend as well. That is also one of the most good or the highest paid scholarship in Europe. That is a very interesting aspect as well. So we don't have to worry about the money at all if you're going for this scholarship. Then another thing which I find personally very interesting is, as explained in the introduction, I like to be in a multicultural environment. So if you prefer the same, this is a wonderful opportunity to be in a multicultural environment where you get an opportunity to be with students from all over the world and learn a lot about the cultures and everything from them. It's a wonderful opportunity, and you can maintain friendships with them and a lot more. And the next point is about languages. So as you have noticed, in my consortium, I had Greece and France in that. So we attended Greek classes, French classes, etc. So this is also a very good opportunity for us to learn languages. And for Erasmus students, they give free language courses too. So we can learn languages, get language certificates, etc., etc. And finally, one non-academical point, you can travel a lot. In this program, you already are traveling to 4 countries. More than that, you can go to other places using your visas. So European visa, if it is a Schengen visa, you can visit other Schengen countries. And that's also a very wonderful opportunity. Okay, so just an example. In this photo, the particular photo, we were visiting oyster farms in UK. They took us to oyster farms in France and salmon cages in Scotland. It's like a wonderful study. If it is an aquaculture, it's a worldwide aquaculture, I would say. Every possible farms or companies you can go visit. It's really nice. Okay, that's about my program and an overview. Let's go into the interesting question, how to apply. So if I'm motivated enough that this program is really nice, let's see how we can apply. So first of all, to select which program you want, because this is not only a fisheries or marine biology degrees, we have a lot of programs. So first we have to go to the EMJMD catalog, which is Erasmus Mundus Joint Master Degree Catalog. You can just Google EMJMD catalog and you get this page, the page of EACEA, and you will have almost close to 150 multidisciplinary program in this page. Okay, I will show you the catalog, like a screenshot. So if you can see, there is a list of programs over here. So you can see a lot of programs. If like very strange programs like puppetry and things like that, you can find everything. So I will give an example for a fisheries degree graduate. Considering that our talk is aquatic and fisheries talk, for a fisheries degree graduate, see this one, ACES Plus, the one I did. Erasmus Mundus JMD in Aquaculture, Environment and Society Plus. So this is an aquaculture program. There is an Aqua H here, which is Health Management in Aquaculture. There is a MER, Marine Environment Program. There is a Marine Biological Resources Program, IMBRC. So you can see there is 1, 2, 3, 4 programs easily applicable for a fisheries degree graduate. But we can only apply to a maximum of 3 programs per person at a time. So it's just, we have to pick the most interesting 3 programs and then you have to apply. So how to apply? Once you like a program, let's take the example of ACES here. You click on this ACES and there you are in the website of the Erasmus. Sorry. Okay, the Erasmus website of the ACES program, like you can see. And in the website, you can see also the website, the program website. This is the Erasmus website, and you can see website aces.org. So if you click over there, it will directly take you to the program website, which is maintained by the coordinators of the program. So here you can actually see all the basic details of this program, or whichever questions you will be having. It will be mostly addressed here, all the details. So in the apply section, you can see eligibility requirement, selection process, etc., etc. So we can easily read and understand most of the thing. The 2 things I want to specifically mention is the eligibility requirement. So that's something which everybody will be interested. Who can apply? Just that you have to have a bachelor's degree relevant to the field. So in my example, I was talking about a fisheries degree graduate. So obviously we are having a degree relevant to the field and also an IELTS score. And that is like a minimum of 6.5. And that's not a very high requirement, I would say. And separately 6 in all 4 components. Technically, this is not a very high requirement. So the 2 requirements are not very complicated, a bachelor's degree and IELTS. Rest everything is application, which you had to have a reference letter, degree, and a statement of purpose, etc., etc., etc. No application fee, no complicated procedures, nothing. You have to have these basic things and you can just apply in the website. That's it. So for fun, this was my batch, my ACES batch 2016 to 2018. batch, and we were 25 students from 19 countries, and that's me with the Indian flag. So this is how it looks like when you are part of a Erasmus Mundus program. Then, just for an information, from KUFOS, Kerala University of Fisheries and Ocean Studies, Kerala, we had almost 7 people till now as Erasmus alumni. So I started with 2016 in ACES, and we have 2 people, ACES and MER in 2018, one in ACES 2019. In 20, we have 3, 2 ACES and MER. This is exclusively from KUFOS. That doesn't mean that there are no other Indians over there. From other parts of India, we definitely have so many people, but this is just the data of KUFOS, and we have already 7 people till now. And 2021 application is being currently closed, and like right now it's going on in February. So sooner or later we will know this data, how many people will be there. So that's about Erasmus Mundus. And another question people will be asking is, students really would like to know is, what are the career prospects after this? The two, definitely it will be either going to industry or academia. And I'm not the correct person to talk about industry because I took an academia path. So I will focus on the academia path, which is PhDs. And in PhDs, since the talk is focused on EU funded opportunities, the European Union funding of a PhD is Marie Curie ones, Marie Curie Actions, ITNs. These are like networks under the Marie Curie Actions. So there are these ITN projects and they take PhDs. That's the whole concept behind it. I will show you. So, okay, I will use my own project, BioMedaku, as the example, and will explain about Marie Curie PhDs. So let's focus on Marie Curie PhDs. Why Marie Curie PhDs? Again, it's very prestigious. Just like in Erasmus, Marie Curie is also regarded as the top doctoral program in the Europe. And we also have these alumni associations and will be forever known as a Marie Curie alumni. So that is considered as a very prestigious thing. And if you notice, I used the word early stage researchers, which is ESRs. Technically, a Marie Curie PhD is not considered as a PhD student, but rather as a researcher, like a work, an employment. So we have these work contract and the salary is like, we pay the tax and the visa will be work visa. So the whole setup of a Marie Curie PhD is more into the work side or as a researcher. So this is a very prestigious thing. Again, the funding or the salary or scholarship, whatever you call, it is again very, very nice. The base living allowance they provide is around 3,200 euros per month before tax. Because like I told, this is a work contract, so we have to pay taxes to the country. Unlike a PhD student who does not have to pay a tax. A normal PhD students in Europe, most of the places of Europe, where there are exceptions like Norway or some other places, but generally, since it is a PhD studentship, we don't have to pay tax. But when it comes to the Marie Curie ESRs, we have to pay tax. Then we get mobility allowance, family allowance, and all the travels, accommodations during the internships and everything is very well covered by the program. And a lot of money for the research as well. So it's very, very nice. So this is my program, BioMedaku, as an example. So it's an abbreviation for biomedicine and aquaculture. So we work on skeletal health, on bones. And we are, again, early stage researchers, which is technically the PhD students. We are 15 of us located all across Europe in different parts. So that's how a consortium is. So this is a Marie Curie ITN network, BioMedaku. So similarly, there are a lot of ITNs announced every year. All we have to do is find the one we like and apply to that, which I will explain in the following slides. Okay, another important thing, why? It is again the top academic and industrial experiences. Here, if you notice, I added the word industrial because in most of the Marie Curie consortiums, other than the universities which are part of the consortium, we also have companies. A lot of companies really being part of it, like as partner organizations, which gives us an opportunity to go to these companies and take up small internships and have these companies as mentors, etc. So every PhD student will have their own supervisors and co-supervisors and even mentors. So this is an actual industrial experience while you are in an academia. This is really amazing. Also, another point is industrial, university, industrial and joint doctorates. So a PhD, just like an Erasmus Masters, can be a joint PhD between a university and an industry. That's a wonderful opportunity. Before finishing the PhD itself, you can potentially get an experience in an industry through these particular type of doctorates. And you can have supervisors from these companies and a lot more. They really help you in certain aspects of your research. So these are some of the very key points in taking up a Marie Curie Action PhDs. And there is one very interesting point, which is secondments and summer school. Every Marie Curie type of PhD is having a mandatory set of secondments and summer schools. So what is a secondment? Secondment is something similar to an internship. So every PhD student is mandatorily supposed to go to some 2 or 3 secondments, spending 1 or 2 months in a different partner universities, like literally 1 or 2 months, and learn their technique, do a part of your experiment, etc. Which is very good because you will get a lot of exposure, not only your university, but other universities or companies. And that happens like 2 or 3. And we also have summer schools. So in every Marie Curie. So we will meet up, the consortium will meet up almost twice in a year at a place. And we, all of us, like in our case, 15 ESRs and our supervisors and co-supervisors and mentors and companies, all of us will meet up in places and learn lectures, trainings, workshops, a lot of things. So for example, we met up in first time in Gran Canaria, Spain, as all together. And then we had 2 and 4 in Tor Vergata, Italy, and then 3 in Belgium, etc. But last ones were virtual because of COVID. But if this COVID situation was not there, these were all supposed to happen in respective universities. So almost a week, everybody meet up and really have both academical and a lot of fun also. So this is a very nice opportunity, the greatest networking opportunity ever as a PhD student. So these are some of the very key aspects of Marie Curie PhDs, apart from the super high-class academical experiences. Okay, if these are sufficient reasons to apply, so how to apply or where to look for it? The main 2 places I would recommend is your Access website and also Find a PhD. So most of the PhDs you can find in this general platform, which is Find a PhD. In case you want to particularly be very, very aware about all the MSCA PhD goals, your Access is that job portal maintained by EU for all these EU-based fundings, not only Marie Curie's, but everything. So you can either directly go to the European Commission, your Access page, or Find a PhD. These are the 2 platforms you will never miss. All the calls. So for an example, if you go and type MSCAITN and your keyword, let's say aquaculture or fish or something, whatever, and you will get the list, whatever is announced, if there is one. If it is an Erasmus Masters, it will be regularly called. Like every year you take that intake of students. But PhD projects are not like every year. Once a project is called, you take the students and that's over. So you have to keep looking for it, for more projects, more different subjects, etc. It's about looking. You have to very carefully look. Then, for example, if you open one of the project, it will look something like this, a project and its details and all the requirements, who to contact, etc., etc. See early stage researcher position in Inflanet. This is a very recently announced program, Inflanet. That's like inflammation or something in aquaculture. Not aquaculture, I think fish model. So you can find programs in this website. Okay, so the 2 important eligibility point I have to mention here is, one, you can only, the only early stage researchers can apply to these Marie Curie projects, which means you have to be in your first 4 years of your research career and definitely should not have a PhD degree. You can't do 2 PhDs in this case. Marie Curies should be in the first 4 years of their research. Second important rule is mobility rule. So if you are someone who already have a PhD, sorry, not PhD, a master's from Europe, you have to be, you cannot apply to the same country where you were staying. So if you do something in France and you can't apply to a French-based Marie Curie position because you already stayed there, you cannot be there in the country where you are applying in the last 4 years, no, 3 years. So if you meet up these two requirements, these two eligibility rules, you are free to apply. All you need is a CV, a good reference letters, a motivation letter, and that's it. You can apply. No particular complication, no application fee or anything like that. You can just apply. They will interview you and pick you if you're good. No complications. So other than these two eligibility rules. Okay, so we have gone through the master's and the PhD programs under Marie Curie fundings, not Marie Curie, the EU fundings. So the Marie Curie comes in the third level as an individual fellowship, or in simple terms, postdoctoral level. It's more into the next advanced levels, individual fellowship. So the key important point is it's for an experienced researcher or someone with a PhD or someone who has a research career for more than 4 years, something like that. And it is such opportunity to go to another place, chance to work abroad. So there are two types, the European fellowships and the global fellowship. So the European ones are for people to come to the Europe or who are already in Europe can move around within Europe. But global is for people who are already in Europe, can even go to outside Europe places for doing a small work, period of work or something. And there are some interesting things are these fellowships, it's more like you can even restart a research career after a break. So if you had to have a break like a parental leave or something, you can come back. This is for experienced researcher. Even if you have a break, it's okay. You can come back to the research. And you can come back to Europe if you already left the Europe to come back and find a new position or something. So these two categories are the two important categories of individual fellowship. Okay, moving over to who can apply. It's experienced researcher, either with a PhD or 4 years of full-time research experience. And all areas are funded and the grant is awarded to the host, and it is covering all the living and travel and family cost, training, networking, every possible cost. And the application is again, like all the Marie Curie, there is no huge complication. You have to write a research proposal, a very good one, with your host organization, the professor, whoever it is, and a CV, and you can apply for an IF. They are not again making it super complicated, but again it is super prestigious. If you win an individual fellowship, it is considered like really amazing in at least in European circle. It is very, very, very prestigious. Okay, other EU funds. Since I have covered the base of master's, PhD, and postdoctoral, I just want to introduce two more things. I'm not the expert for this, but for more details, you can go through the pages. But just an overview is co-fund. It is co-funding of regional, national, and international programs. So this is like you make a proposal, not a PhD student though, it's like a university or research organizations together will make a research proposal and get a co-fund funding. And once you get a co-fund funding, then the researchers like a PhD student or a master's student can apply to a co-fund funded project and get an opportunity to travel or go to another country or something like that. This is also a different type of funding, but mostly for a upper level of education, not for, we don't apply, we apply to a co-fund funded projects as a student or doctoral candidates. Then you can actually look for it, co-fund PhDs or something. Or we can go for RISE, that's another opportunity, not for students again, it's like partners, the academic or non-academic organizations, they will make a consortium and they get the funding, and the students under this funding can go for secondments and places. So again, if our group, our lab, or our professor can win a RISE funding, then we can go to another group or country or something and take up small secondments, etc., etc. So these are some two other interesting funding under EU for research. So that's the basic funding programs I was intending to cover. And as a concluding slide, just some overview. It's not EU funding as simple as that. Find a Masters can give you all the an overview for all the Masters program. Find a PhD, all the PhD programs. Find a Postdoc can give you an overview of all the postdoctoral programs, and the Norwegian ones are mostly appearing in Job Norge because some of them may not appear in Find a PhD. So this will be the correct place for Norway. And Norway is really good for fisheries programs. So this is an interesting thing to look on. Then apart from all these things, something else, this is not EU funding. I'm talking about just a diversion. There are countries which gives their own separate fundings and scholarships and everything. I would recommend to go through that also, which needs another 2 presentations to cover. So that fellowships in Germany, FCT in Portugal, UK have a lot of them like this. British Council ones, Commonwealth Fellowship, etc., etc., etc. Now UK has opened PhDs for global funding as well. So there is a lot more for scholarships in UK for everyone internationally. Earlier, it was restricted to UK or EU citizens. After the Brexit, we have a lot more global funding opportunity from UK. So this is, and many more. This is not it. If you go to every country, there is a lot more. University fundings, you can apply to the universities and professors and etc., a lot. So this is just an overview. And thank you for listening. And if there is more questions after the talk also, you can contact me in LinkedIn or email as given here. Thank you so much for listening. Yeah.
Thanks very much, Jerry. I'm trying to start my video. Having issues. Yeah, so I'm here back. Yeah, thanks very much. So that was a really wonderful talk. Is this meant for travel? I don't feel like it's for a PhD. It sounds really like, traveling to different places, meeting different people, learning new culture. And do you really get time to do your PhD?
So it should be something like a balance. You have to travel and you have to work. It's difficult.
It's difficult. Yeah. So I did my PhD in Ireland, and that's not a Schengen visa, so I was pretty much stuck there. Studied in Europe, but haven't seen Europe. So that's one thing. You get one of these scholarships, and you get a Schengen visa, and you can pretty much go anywhere in Europe. Not at the moment, but yeah. So again, just related to that question, that thing, when you do a PhD, you're pretty serious about one particular work, and if you are doing a lab-based work, how feasible it is, like how flexible it is if you are moving around different places. Won't it be challenging?
Yeah, I think I have to be truthful here because we have students who really want to know the truthful answers. So it is very challenging, I have to admit. But if you like challenges, you will find a way around it, because sometimes you start an experiment and you realize, okay, I have a summer school coming up and I have to move to another country in between. So then you will have to stop your experiment and then reschedule it. So which is true, every month we have somewhere to go and do something. So I don't know, but everybody understands, I have to admit. Like, people who knows you are a Marie Curie fellow, they know you have to travel a lot. In my lab, the other Italian PhDs says, are you here? Oh my God, you are here for 1 month together. Like, that's wonderful. What happened? So since everybody knows that we have to travel a lot, people do give a consideration that our work is a bit difficult to organize. So nobody will judge.
Before I pass the baton to the audience for more questions, I have put the feedback link in the chat box. If all of you can provide a feedback for Jerry and for us as well. So I will. There are a few questions in the chat box. So let me go through some of them. So one of the guy asked, what do you mean by mobility allowance? So probably these terms are not familiar. If you can explain.
Okay, the mobility allowance in Marie Curie PhD is something they give every month, whether you move or not, because their idea is that a Marie Curie fellow, like I told in the eligibility, that you should not be based in the country you are placed. So which means every Marie Curie fellow will be moving away from their home and staying in a different country, which is like you are already in a mobility. So they give us every month 600 euro in a way to explain that if you have to go to your home every month, you need mobility money since you are away from home. For sure, you are away from home in a Marie Curie fellow. So if let's take a Spanish person is in Italy, what if they want to visit Spain every month? So they need extra money for the flight. So that logically, they give 600 euros per month, no matter what. And under a term called mobility allowance. It's like mobility, travel, but not as a
So,
research travel.
so is it the same meaning for Erasmus? Because you said there's a 3,000 euros for mobility allowance in Erasmus Mundus?
No, that's a different mobility. That is
Okay, yeah.
Erasmus, yeah, Marie Curie PhD mobility is something like this. Whereas Erasmus mobility is that they give 3,000 euros at the beginning of the year. There are 2 years. So we will get 3,000 plus 3,000, 6,000 euros in total, which technically means to travel from your home country and reach the new place and settle down and you know, it's a lot of expenses. So they basically mean that. And that is a good amount for 3,000 euros. It's close to 3 lakh you get in every year,
Yeah, yeah.
excluded from stipend.
Gopika asking, ma'am, what's the time period for master's degree? I don't know which one. Probably Erasmus Mundus.
Most of them are 2 years. I don't think there is anything of 1 year. As far as I know, it's all 2 years. 2 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the other question is by Phoebe Phillip. Dear ma'am, thank you for the excellent presentation. I would like to ask you whether there are any limit of number of people to be taken in from a particular country for a particular Erasmus Mundus master's program.
I actually thought there was, but surprisingly, I see a lot of Indians in one program recently. For example, aquaculture, AFS program. I noticed 3 people from my batch, my force getting in. So that means I don't think they are putting big limitation. So maybe 3 or 4 because they take 25 students, and I don't think they will take, I don't know, 10 people from a country. That's too much. So their idea is to have as much diverse as possible. So if they have a possibility to take 25 different countries, they will go for it. But if there is 2 excellent candidates from one country, they will go for it. But I don't think there is a fixed limit that you cannot take more than this many number or something. I see 2 people, 3 people, even 4 from a country.
Yeah, yeah. So here we have a basic question. Probably this is a question for everyone probably would be asking. When you are fresh new student looking forward to explore. So Wawa is asking in the CV, what are the things we have to add for PhD? We can add internship, training, webinar, national and international programs in. So what things are important for a CV to be seriously considered by the Erasmus Mundus?
Okay, so again, I think the question, whoever asked was for PhD, right? So we have these.
Well, Wawa, if you can come in and ask the question straight to Jerry.
Okay, probably PhD. If they don't want to come up, if it is PhD, I can answer for PhD now.
Yeah, go on.
So if it is PhD, when I applied, they asked us to apply through a format called Europass. So basically, you go into the website and type Europass, EURO, Euro, PASS, pass, and there is this format, like an online link where there is a column. You type name, and add, and in the end, you get a PDF out of the Europass in a complete CV format. That is the one I used for Marie Curie PhDs because they wanted it in Europass format. If no, that's easy because you don't have to worry what to add because they already give you what to add. There you just add things. But in some other cases, when they have not specifically mentioned that you have to use a Europass format, I think a CV is something generally you can have a neat 3-page CV. Like, let's not make it too much because it will be not very good. So in a decent way, we put all the possible nice things we have done. I don't think we have any specific limitations or we can add or not add. As far as I know, it's everybody's choice. You can put everything, like whatever that person asked was, can we add internship? Yes. Training? Yes. Webinar? Yes. National and international program?
What about your publications? And if you're going for a PhD, are these really important? I mean, I
Most.
know it is important, but would it matter?
Yes, actually, earlier maybe because, for example, when I applied, the publications I didn't had any publication published at that time, but it was I somehow got in. But now the competition, as you all may know, is very high. Every year the competition is becoming very high. So I think now publication will really help to beat the competition, I would say. They are not telling that you have to have a publication, but if you want to get in beating the competition, I think it is better to have a publication. It will help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's, I think, a lot of questions. So I'm just going through it. Let's see if I can give a chance to people to speak. Vignesh asking, ma'am, can you please explain about the reference letter and motivation letter? Are these required for the, you know,
Yes.
whatever it is, master's or PhD? No.
Yes, both. We need to have, for example, reference letter for Erasmus and Marie Curie. I think two. We need to have two. So you just have to go to very a professor or someone who you have possibly done something. For example, if you are a master's student, it will be good to have a professor with whom you have done something. In my time, I didn't know, so we were randomly going to everyone and asking, give me a reference letter. But I would recommend, if you have done a small internship or small training, or at least a professor who actually taught you, make sure that it's a good professor who knows you very well, and get a nice reference letter in masters, two of them from two professors. And for PhD, I would recommend get the letter from the professor with whom you did your master's thesis. That's the person who knows you very well, with whom you worked. So it is very important to have two reference letters from relevant professors, not random. Whoever whom have a very good knowledge about you, your research, your talent, and a very reputable professor, which will give more
Yeah.
chance.
What about the motivation letter?
That is something we have to write completely with our ideas. So again, my suggestion will be, you can ask seniors, for example, somebody who won the same scholarship, and ask, can you give me your motivation letter you used? It's better to ask for the recent people. Like if you ask me, I was Erasmus 2016 batch. I didn't know very well. But if you ask the last people who got into the program, the one in 2019, they have really did their research and did a very nice letter. So for the new batch people, they better ask for the previous person who got in and use that as a template. Don't copy it, because the people over there really knows your letters and very familiar with that. So you can get an overall idea how to make it, and you can make your own using your seniors or somebody's as a reference.
Yeah. Uh, Let me ask you something. Just from my thoughts. I just imagine I'm just a normal student
Okay.
doing my bachelor's. But I'm not really great with my studies, but I have the passion to. I mean, I'm passionate. I don't have much marks. Okay.
Okay.
My English is not that great. Would I have a chance to get into Erasmus? Do you still think it's option for me?
Well, I think the competition is again the problem, because they have never set a barrier for anyone. Because if you see, the IELTS is 6.5 as the limit, which is not like 8 or something. They didn't set huge barriers. But the problem is competition. Like I heard unofficially that this year there is such a number of applications going from Kufos alone. So you are competing with a big, huge pool of people. Just Kufos alone, close to 20 people. So imagine all around the India, how many people might be applying to these programs. So the chance, depending on your peer, if there are so many great people around you applying, then when they look at the CV, they kind of skim through the CV and they will pick that super
Yeah.
attractive CV.
If I'm almost towards the end of my bachelor's, and now I am too much drived uh, to actually go and do a better, do more well. Uh, can I still make it possible by, you know, by doing good things from now on, but my past is still dirty.
Ah, okay. For bachelors, I think you can make up something in the last,
Yeah,
let's say, 6 months at least. The two things will be improving English because IELTS is there. It's not something you can quickly go and just study and write. So if you start getting exposed to English a little bit earlier, would be nice for IELTS, like watch English
yeah,
movies and read books and things in at least a year ago as a preparation. And also academically, if you try to do something like a small internship or do a tiny research project by the end of the year of bachelor, so that you can potentially have a poster or a small paper or something by the end of the year, which will give you and
yeah,
which give you some weight for your CV, at
yeah.
least by the end of the year. Yeah.
Yeah. A couple of questions here. So there are two questions, but kind of same. TOEFL and IELTS, are they mandatory for PhD, or is there other program where, I don't know, is TOEFL IELTS is affordable for students? Yeah,
Uh, TOEFL or IELTS affordable for students. That's
that two things. Are they required for PhD and are they affordable?
okay, so PhD, not really, because for example, some PhDs, they just ask you to submit a proof that your master's was in English, medium of communication or medium of teaching was in English. So if you can submit a letter or something telling that your master's was in English, maybe you can skip this English part in certain cases. But again, you will face this IELTS trouble in the future because in Italy, if you enter without IELTS, after joining the PhD, they will again ask for IELTS during the PhD. So it's better to write IELTS. That's too much of hassle not to write that particular English thing and then go ahead and face confusion.
And how expensive it is? How
Yeah,
expensive?
I don't know the current one, but I am pretty sure IELTS is around 12,000 or something. When I wrote back in that time, it was around 11,000 something. So I believe it is higher than that now, maybe 13,000 or something. Yes, it
Yep.
is
Yeah,
affordable
rough. Yeah.
depending on the people. So if you want, if you're ready, we're so passionate to go foreign, maybe you will not find it as a waste of money. And if you're just trialing, maybe it's a
Yeah.
huge money. Yeah. Indian
Yeah.
perspective, yeah, depending on people.
Yeah, Kavya is asking, what are the four courses that a fishery student is eligible for Erasmus Mundus?
Fishery student, yeah, that there was a slide where I showed that possible four courses for a fishery student. That's the question. I think I had a slide
Yeah,
exactly showing that four courses, which one is ACES, aquaculture. Then there is a aqua
can you
eth.
show that slide quickly?
Am I sharing the screen now?
No.
Okay. First
Yeah,
of all,
now it is.
yeah, okay, it's shared. Okay, fine. Oh, okay. It's sharing, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think your screen was off because there's no activity probably.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Four courses. Yeah, this one is that. Yeah, for that question, this is the answer. Some these are four, but you cannot apply for four. Like I told, maximum three is a rule for Erasmus Masters application. You can apply at a time for three courses. So if there is four, you can pick three. So this is my personal suggestion. Doesn't mean that you have to apply to these four. As a fishery student, you can apply to whichever you like. But I personally believe this aquaculture course, this health management aquaculture, marine environment, and marine biology. These four will be the good one. My personal suggestion, but you can go through this catalog and decide by yourself for a fishery
Thanks.
student.
Okay, Jerry, so we have to quickly answer because we have more lot of questions. So
Yeah.
keep your response short. Okay. So
Okay.
what's the time period for PhD? To my understanding, it's up to you, like how much you do. But then again, your funding will be limited to a time period. So what's your response, Jerry?
Okay, well, time period for a Marie Curie PhD is depending on our own countries. Like our funding will be only for 3 years for a Marie Curie, but in Italy we finish in 3 years. Say for example, in Portugal they have to do it in 4 years. So that is a trouble students will face at the end of 3 years because their project funding will finish and they have to find some other funding to cover their fourth year. So it all varies according to the countries. There are 3 year and 4 year PhDs in Europe, which will not be the same case in, let's say, USA or Australia. I don't know, but Europe, 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Wawa is asking, no, I'm not very clear about it. I just found no option for Indian citizen option for Norway PhD. Does it is or for other country, or does it's only for post of PhD? I'm not pretty sure
In
what
job
it
note,
means.
if you go and check, there could be PhDs or postdocs for maybe Norwegian people alone. And for public, it is up to us to go through the list and find whichever is for everyone. It's not a rule that we cannot have international people in job knowledge or something. Maybe when he checked, he couldn't find, let's say,
Yeah,
a-
yeah. Some
there is no.
Jobins is asking, is there a minimum OGPA required or a better OGPA? Would it make any difference?
No, 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 no. It's again the competition between others. So you have six, is going to care about the six OGPA. But the problem is, imagine you have a classmate who is applying with eight. That gives definitely an advantage towards the person with eight. The selection committee will be like, okay, there is an eight OGPA. He looks more academically better. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They don't have a
Yeah.
problem with competition. Yeah.
Phoebe have an interesting question. Probably you still have to explore that area. Would there be any difficulties for those who undergone Erasmus Mundus program and then trying to get back into the government job in India?
I think getting a government job in India starts with all the usual process of writing that exam and cracking the.
Nobody cares what you did, I guess. Like, where
I
you,
think at the end you have to get that list. I don't
the,
know that.
yeah, there are set rules for this. So it's at the end whether you satisfy those rules. So I think
Yeah,
that's it.
and it is hard for us everyone. I believe it's difficult, generally speaking, to get government jobs in India. So I don't think having an Erasmus Mundus degree is going to make a problem because it's a 2 year degree. It is valid. I have never heard of any problem to find anything because it was an Erasmus degree. It's a
Yeah.
true 2 year proper degree as
Yeah.
all other.
Does the British Council aptitude test is equivalent to TOEFL or IELTS? Do you know?
I'm not sure about that because usually it just says IELTS. This is I have no idea honestly.
Yeah,
IELTS
yeah,
is the golden standard or TOEFL.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So Google now is saying 14,000 for the IELTS or TOEFL, probably. Yeah,
increased. Yeah, yeah. When I did it was 11,000 something. Yeah.
yeah. Is it reliable for fisheries engineering technology in case of PhD? Don't.
Depending on the call, like when you go into the the Euraccess or find a PhD, you type fisheries engineering technology, and if there is any call of a project on fisheries engineering technology or related, you will get that name. So there is nothing like it won't come or something. You just have to go and keep looking into the website if there is
Yeah.
a call or not. Yeah.
Saranya Raju asking, is reference letter from a scientist from a reputed institute is okay? It's not actually like that. It's a scientist with whom you have worked, or your guide or your mentor, and somebody who knows you well. So the reference letter, the person who writes should know you, should have worked with you. So that's it, Saranya. Gobigi asking, is it possible to get Erasmus Master's Scholarship for the students who have 3 years bachelor's degree?
Yeah, yeah, sure. I don't think they have any problem with what type of bachelor's you had. No, how you
Yeah,
should have a bachelor's degree
yeah,
relevant to the field. Yeah,
yeah.
something relevant. Yeah,
So have you faced any racism in PhD or masters in Europe?
yeah. Generally speaking, no, because this kind of PhDs and masters are with a multicultural community. Like if you notice my photo of the classmates, it was 25 students from 19 countries. So we have every people from all over the world. We can't be against each other. So no, not really.
Yeah.
No.
Andrew's asking when I need to apply for Erasmus if I am passing out in 2022.
Okay, the application starts in like November of an year and kind of stops in this time, like February. So if you want to join in 2022 itself, you should be applying in the beginning of 2022 at least, by January at least. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So our board member Mukta is saying for anyone who wanting to get a government job in India after doing a master's in Europe or probably any country, just make sure your master's is of a minimum 2 years. So there are some masters with 1.5 years or even 1 year. So make sure you do a master's with 2 years, and that will be the minimum eligibility to get back into a government job in India.
Yes, 1 year one will be UK ones. UK have a lot of 1 year masters, but Erasmus are 2 years. So I don't think this is a problem here.
Yeah. Ravi Teja asking, what about MSc Agriculture and Horticulture students, ma'am? Do we have opportunity?
Of course, I think agriculture have more opportunity than fisheries, I have to say. If you want to find programs in that catalog, you can find maybe 5 programs. Agriculture has a lot. Horticulture, not very sure, but you can check in the catalog. EMJMD catalog in my presentation. Yeah, just look through it.
Yeah, someone asking fisheries engineering related PG course. Have you heard any of them? Yeah, many.
Same thing. PG is that Erasmus Mundus Masters. There's a catalog of 150 programs. So you just have to go through 150 names, and from the name itself, you know, right? If it is related to a fisheries engineering, just go through that EMJMD catalog. Google.
Gobika asking, what's the possibility of a student to get PhD degree in Europe who did masters from India? I think at a global level, they keep all the applications equal and they look at how competitive you are. So I would say you should ensure getting some publications out of some quality as a minimum to compete with other people around the world. So
yes.
But I don't think it doesn't matter where you have done your master's or PhD. It's the quality of your education matters, right, Jerry?
Exactly. It doesn't matter anything about India. It's totally your CV. Whatever you have done in your master's, if you are an excellent person with publication and internship or whatever you did, that's it. Not country. Country is not a problem.
Yeah. Srinila asking, ma'am, can we find PhD courses for biotechnology, genetics, or processing through Find a PhD? Yes, of course.
Yeah, these are very easy to find because these are really cool topics which currently you will get a lot of PhDs. Yeah. PhDs, Find a PhD is having so many PhDs. Just use that website wisely. You can find a lot.
Yeah. Some fisheries engineering question. I think the response is same. B.Tech fisheries engineering student opportunity in future.
I think I'm not the correct person to answer that. Sorry.
Okay. Now, if any one of you have questions, you can actually, unmute yourself and you can ask Jerry. We have 10 minutes more. 10 minutes more. So if anyone would like to ask a question or comment or anything. Don't feel shy. You can ask any questions. All of us were students at some point of time. And Jerry was also a student like you.
I am now a student.
Yeah, she is still a student. So,
yes.
And so you can keep this very casual. Don't feel shy, or as someone else said before, no questions is stupid. You know, it's just you don't know, so you want to learn.
I think we have questions in the chat instead. People are not coming in the.
There's one question. If jobs are there, how about in fisheries engineering?
The problem is if you're asking about fisheries engineering, it's not really my expertise area. I really don't know. If you really want to know the opportunities, it's always good to ask a fisheries engineering graduate, somebody who actually went through that master's or PhD. They would have done a better research than anyone to find jobs or opportunities. For me, aquaculture or something will be the correct area to ask because I have done all my research on that. So yeah, I'm not the good person for fisheries engineering. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I put that feedback form link again in the chat box. If all of you can put a feedback for us. Yes, please. Anyone else? Please ask questions.
Hello, Deepak Cheta. Can I know?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Jerry. It was a nice talk. I would like to know a little more about postdoc fellowship. Is there any regular call for postdoc fellowship under Marie Curie?
The IF one is something you write, like you find a nice topic and you write a nice proposal with a co-host from your website. So imagine you find a nice professor who is ready to collaborate with you on an IF proposal, say from Germany. Then you talk with that professor and you write a nice proposal. That's the key thing. A very nice proposal, which has a lot of criteria, which you can check in the website, and a beautiful proposal and your CV. That's it. Proposal is our creativity. How nice a proposal you can write, you win as IF. So they are not calling you, rather you write and submit on the correct time. Yeah, it's up to your proposal.
Okay, whether we need ILTS for that one also?
IF, okay, IF, if you win, maybe for, no, I don't think so. For a proposal, no. I don't think we need an ILTS. I don't think so, but I'm not sure. I cannot tell it for certain that we don't need, but I believe not. Even for PhD, I didn't submit. So
Yeah,
postdoc,
I think from my experience, many of these programs in Europe, they're not like very strict on this English language requirement. Most of the time, it is they select you and then they ask you to provide a score, and you can then appear for an exam. But that's case is different in US, I think, because they take this scores as one of the criteria of whether they want to choose you as a PhD student. So it's quite different from everywhere. But my understanding in Europe is like it's not a hard rule criteria when it comes to IELTS or TOEFL.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Jada.
no problem.
Hi, ma'am. My name is Anaka, and my graduation is an integrated graduation. That is BSc MSc integrated one, and that is in climate science. And in between, I got a fellowship for UK for just for 6 months. Actually, it was a prestigious one, and my IELTS score is 7. But still, I'm getting constant rejection letters from various universities. I think the issue is maybe with the motivation letter, and as well I'm having some publications, 3 or 4 publications, but I'm still getting the rejection letters even before shortlisting for an interview. Maybe the issues is with the motivation letters or statement of purpose. Could you please guide how to write, or what are the relevant things or important things that I have to include in my motivation letters?
Okay, first of all, I have to say one more thing. Getting these rejections actually is a very common thing. So don't ever get disheartened about that, because before getting my own PhD, I got a lot of rejections too. And I think many of the people will agree with me in this thing. It's a very common thing, so don't worry about that. And about second part, which was, if you think it is about your motivation letter or statement of purpose, okay, I think this is a very big topic, like what to be covered in that. I think it's a really big topic. I think you have to explain, first of all, why you are really suitable for that project. That's the way you convince, that is very, very important. So if they are calling for a project on, let's say, aquatic health, then you have to really make them understand why you are really eligible or why you are so suitable. And then you explain what you can contribute to their lab, because wherever I have noticed, I always face this point. They always ask, what can you contribute to us? I think everybody want to know what this new student will bring to their group. So if you can put something like, I am very interested to do some interesting aspects which you can contribute to their group, that is also important. Other than that, okay, I really can't explain that easily, but like I told, if you have a successful motivation letter of someone who won the scholarship, for example, you will get an idea of the flow, how they have written, like not too long or short, but concise way explaining why you are eligible and what can you contribute and what are your targets and all these things, how you cover it. So I don't know if I can explain it that easily in few seconds. How to.
I I have got a lot of rejections as well, and I have applied to many US universities, and again I have submitted all these statement of purpose and everything. but that was like 25 years back. And I used to go through many others statement of purpose, kind of try to do the same thing. But I realize now is I have adopted, like borrowed a lot of words from them, and I think that was not a good idea. So when you write it from your heart, and so it should appear very natural. So I don't know what works, but I know what doesn't work. So
So,
so don't
uh,
copy.
yeah, you are the best person to answer that, I would say, rather than me, because you know it better than me about this question, statement of purpose and or motivation letter. In fact, that's
Uh,
the topic, I would
uh,
say. What
uh,
actually is
Can
better?
I,
someone who knows will here will be Pradesh.
Aha,
can I jump in there? Yeah, when you guys were discussing, so I thought that I would jump in. So when I look at a statement of purpose, then I'm looking for genuinity. The same thing, like you guys were mentioned, don't cook up things. If you cook up with like hi-fi English words, whatever that you're listening from, someone, or you're adopting from internet, it's not gonna work. Because when I read, if I doesn't make any sense, I throw them right away into the trash bin. So please, like if you're writing your statement of purpose, think about what you have to do. Like I have done this mistake as well. I mean, probably Deepak also did the same thing. Like we don't know who to guide us to all these processes. So when we wrote, we were kind of like looking at the other statement of purpose and all those things, and then try to make our own after that. When you write, you have to think through what you have to achieve. Like tell honestly from your heart, like what you have done so far, what you want to do, and if you have a genuine story to tell, then that professor or that program will be interested in it. Most of the time, like from the first paragraph itself, like we'll come to know whether it's been cooked or not. Okay, so please be genuine and no plagiarism. Plagiarism is a big thing, and once you're out of the country, out of India, I think plagiarism is getting serious in India too. But plagiarism is really, really a serious matter in other part of the world. So please don't do any plagiarism. So
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Someone is asking for Erasmus Mundus, only a paper publication is necessary as reference letters is necessary or not?
okay. I can't say a paper or two paper or anything. Again, now since the competition is high, the more you have, obviously it will be better in a competitive.
They
But the,
don't do they ask for a paper? They don't. I don't think so. Yeah. So but in general, if someone is not asking you paper, it doesn't mean it's okay. You still need paper to show your ability and your expertise. So it's an people don't have to ask it. So you need it. So
yes, yes. At the end,
yes.
when the selection committee look at two applications, they would prefer the one with a good research background. Yeah, but no rule.
Yeah. Nagaraj, I missed whether it is available on YouTube. Yes, it will be, but only after a minimum of 2 weeks. We encourage everyone to come live and discuss. We certainly do YouTube, but that will be coming up maybe after 2 or 3 weeks. Mohammed Sadiq, being a student of New Fisheries College in Jharkhand, how much it's gonna difficult for me getting to Erasmus Mundus? Any pre-suggestions recommend for person to me? So I think it's the same question I asked to Jerry. I'm not good with my marks. My English is probably not that good. Would I still stand a chance? Uh, Jerry is.
I don't think it is a problem or something. If even if your college is new or old, if you have a good CV, like you did something in your bachelor's and you are passionate and you have a you did everything very well, your bachelor's, and if you can have a publication possibly or something. If you do your bachelor's very well, it doesn't matter. It's not about New Fisheries College or something. If you can still make something out of your bachelor's, yeah.
Neetu asking, can we apply for PhD while we doing our PG? I mean, if we are about to complete course, I think you can, but with PhDs, you have to go through the particular programs requirement, because some places offer PhDs even without a master's requirement. So go through the website. So probably Jerry can answer for the Erasmus.
For Erasmus, no, she was asking about PhD. So you can apply because I applied to my Marie Curie PhD while I was doing my master's. So the question is answered. Yes, you can. But you should be aware that by the time they start, you should be able to finish the master's you are doing, and you should be able to produce that degree certificate. Like some colleges, they don't issue the master's certificates on time and problems. So you are taking a risk. If you are confident that you can produce all the documents which they are going to ask by the deadline, you can always apply. I applied in around April while I was still a student in my Erasmus Masters. And by the time I completed in August, I already got the degree certificate and I joined the program a couple of months later, the PhD. So yes, it's possible.
Ravi Teja asking, sir, can you please send me the presentation? I'm sorry, I'm a little late. Yeah, we don't send presentations to anyone through email or any form. All we do is you can see the recording of this talk in after 2 or 3 weeks. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on our Facebook page. Mukta saying, yeah, when you write your SOPs, align it with the lab's work. Mukta, you have some experience. Would you like to provide some advice regarding this? Your sound is breaking, I think.
Am I audible?
It's breaking. Yeah, what about? Yeah, yeah, it's all right. Okay, it's yeah, your sound is breaking. That's fine.
I would tell that Mukta is the inspiration for me and Deepak, I guess, at least to apply for outside India for education. So I guess she was the only one at that time, right, Deepak?
Yeah, I mean, all she did is while she was doing her masters on an annual break or something, she came to our class in our college and gave us a 1 hour or 1.5 hour talk on her experience studying abroad. That's the point when I started even thinking about that this is possible. We are in India, and it was always a zone which I was afraid to go in, and I really didn't think it was possible. But just Mukta's 1 hour talk in the class made a big difference, and we started thinking about applying. Yeah, this is possible. It's not something that you cannot achieve. So yeah, it's true, Pradesh. Good thinking. Yeah. Are you Mukta? Are you still? Your mic is working. Can we check?
Am I audible?
Audible. Yeah, it's breaking, but please go ahead. Let's see.
I'll just leave and rejoin back.
It's breaking. Sorry. It's okay, Mukta. It's breaking. Yeah. Helda Saji, what about the interview for EMJ MD? Do you know anything, Jerry? What's it?
Yeah, well, again, there is no rule that every EMJMD programs have interview in the first place. Some programs do an interview before selection and some of them doesn't. For ACES, there is an interview, and I know MER didn't have an interview, Marine Environment. Okay, so for ACES, which I faced, I had like around 20 minutes interview, and some of my juniors have told me that they had 10 minutes. So time doesn't really, I cannot be sure. Depending on the amount of applications they have shortlisted, maybe the interview can range from 5 to 30 minutes. Okay, point number one. Then the questions. When I appeared, they used to ask a lot because they really didn't know about BFSC degree or something. It's the first time they were seeing a candidate. So they took like 20-25 minutes to talk a lot about my program. It was about what I did. They were very interested in our curriculum and a lot of things. But when it came to the last winners, the ones who joined in 2019 and all, they had a pretty short interview asking one or two questions on their something from their CV. Actually, they really love to ask something from the CV. So if you have mentioned you have done something, they will probably ask what is that, and also the standard questions: why are you interested, what makes you eligible for this program, etc., etc., the usual thing. So yeah.
Yeah. Saranya Raju asking, the ranking of university from which we are going to do PhD is a matter of concern. Is there any problems to come back to India after having PhD from university with ranking higher than 500? I think it's just not really it doesn't matter if you're doing a PhD. Maybe if you're doing a bachelor's degree, probably it matters. But when it comes to PhD, it's your academic excellence. Wherever you do, it doesn't matter. Even if you do it in India or abroad, doesn't matter. But yeah, of course, going abroad will give you more opportunities, good lab facilities, and it will help you to, yeah, it will help you in a way to do your work more efficiently. So but otherwise, it's your PhD actually bringing reputation to the university. So so if you have more good PhDs, university ranking gets better. Jerry, what do you want to say about it?
Yeah, for me, at least in Marie Curie PhDs, I think you don't have to worry about the ranking, because at the end you are known as a Marie Curie fellow. But about other PhDs, if you have a choice between two universities, I think we can go with the better ranking, or I would rather say better lab and professor. Like, even if the ranking is a little low, but the professor you are interested in is really good in his work, and the lab is really efficient, I think you can go. It's a little bit, yes, I know. I don't think, maybe there are better people here to answer this question, because this is a little bit important questions. I am a PhD student. I think my answers will be a bit biased or something. I just think maybe a professor level people can answer that better about this ranking. I personally think if you have a very good lab group and professor and everything, you can still take that low ranked
Yeah,
universities.
that's the point where sometimes you will see a university with good ranking, but individual divisions have a separate reputation.
Yeah.
So the best fisheries lab or fisheries related lab probably is not in the first 500 ranking university, but the quality and their reputation is higher than any other university. So so I don't advise actually looking on the university ranking, but rather look on the best lab in your line of expertise and try to get in there. Uh, Anaka Mohan, just it's almost yeah, more than an hour. Okay, whatever questions there, I'm going to finish with that. Anaka is asking, my PG is in climate science and I opted for fisheries as my elective and did my MSc thesis at CMFRI. I would like to continue my research inclined to fisheries in coral reefs. Does my basic degree matters while sending an application under fisheries faculty?
So because it looks like the MSc thesis was in CMFRI and everything. So at the end, you do have a research experience in this fishery related matter. So I don't think it's a problem. You have a good CV. Yeah, you can apply. Focusing on your thesis, like give more importance to what you did in your MSc thesis and apply. So it won't be a problem.
Yeah. Aishwarya asking, ma'am, is it easy to get a job after Erasmus PG in fisheries from Europe?
It's same answer to everyone. Getting a job is so difficult nowadays, everywhere in every country. So it doesn't really matter if it is an Erasmus PG or anything. It's generally a little bit difficult, especially biology based degrees. Finding a job is really difficult. That's one of the reason many people opt for academia. Keep it continuing until you get an industrial job. So I don't know. Again, this is a difficult question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My little piece of advice: don't there's no point of showcasing your degrees when it comes to a job. What you need is networking. Network with as much people as you know, and then your degree is probably of lesser priority. If you seem to be a good person to work with, people will take you in. So that's my piece of advice.
Yeah, he
Uh,
answered better than me. Yes.
I agree with that.
Yanni, and can we do masters in aquaculture engineering? Whether it have a great demand? There's a lot of question with aquaculture engineering. I don't know why.
Yeah. I didn't check in an EMJMD catalog if there is a master's in the first place. It will take just 5 minutes if you can go into that catalog and just skim through it. If you find anything called aquaculture engineering, there it is. And demand, okay, I really have no idea. The demand, no, I don't know.
Yeah, Jerry is from a different field, so
Yeah, I will
there's
be
no.
wrong
Yeah,
information. I don't know.
yeah. Anyway, so that's all the questions. We are not taking any more questions. But Jerry, can you put your LinkedIn profile, that link in the chat box? So if you have any more questions, straight shoot to Jerry. Send a message in LinkedIn. That's a presentation slide. Yeah, just can you just copy that link and put it in the chat box?
Copy. Chat box. Yeah, I will just put it here.
Yeah, mark it to everyone in the chat box.
Yeah, why is it like?
Maybe it's only going to one person or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know why is it. I am not able to. It's marked to one person alone. I don't know why.
no, two. You can change that.
Yeah, I'm trying to that. Chat.
There's a drop down list
This one and
next to two. You can
every.
change to whom you are sending that.
Yes, done. Yes.
Yeah. So that's Jerry's LinkedIn profile. Any questions, send her a message, and she will be happy to provide advice. Yes. So that's it for today. Thanks everyone for joining in, and again another exciting talk in 2 weeks' time, same day, but after 2 weeks. Thank you, Jerry, for giving this wonderful talk, and for record, I will say this is the highest turnout talk ever since we started. We got 125 participants. That's the highest ever, and that shows the demand. There's a lot of questions from students, and they want to do better, excel, do better in their academy. And I told you, I get questions every month. At least 1 or 2 person contact me. So this shows that demand. So we try to organize again something similar. So trying to be more useful for students. And if we look at our statistics over last 6 months, we get like 70% attendees from the student side. So uh, I think these talks will be of great value for anyone from India. And it's not only the students. Today, Jerry was even talking about opportunities for higher degree researchers. So even after the postdoc, you took a break and you can still come back. The two fellowships, European fellowship and the global fellowship. So it's not late anymore. Late. So if you think you want to come back to academia, I want to go Europe, go for these fellowships. That is for the new information for me. I should apply for that. Okay, thanks everyone. So that's the end of the talk today. Thank you. Bye.